My Washington journey begins in the northwestern corner of the state.
Imagine having a home on the beach, looking out from your garden to the Pacific Ocean. Well, that's what Carol Ann and Tom Hyatt enjoy every day from their home in Ferndale, Washington. They've asked me to help them install a garden sprinkler so they can spend less time working on the garden and more time enjoying it.
I have the system for them.
Hey folks, how are you? Good morning.
Nice to meet you, Ron.
Hey Carol Ann, Tom.
Hey, Ron. Glad to meet you.
I got to ask you, why would you need water in Washington? It rains all the time here.
Yeah.
Oh, we do get some spells where we really
gets dry,
need the water.
yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Want to show me the yard? We'll see what you got in mind here.
Yes, come this way.
All right.
There we go.
Hey, you guys spend more than a little time out here.
Yeah, lots of time.
Look at this
25
garden.
hours a week.
Come on, 25
Yep.
hours a week?
25 hours a week.
The Hyatt's garden really reflects their lives. It sits right on the edge of Loomy Bay, which borders the Loomy Indian Reservation. Carol Ann, an interior designer, has divided it into several gardens that are joined together by paths. Tom is a professional musician with a love of golf. So when he's not touring, he's out on his putting green.
So you've got a lot of different kinds of plants here.
Yes.
You have to hand water a lot of these?
Yes.
Now for the parts of this that you have to hand water, how long does that take you?
Hour and a half.
Wow.
If it's really dry weather, we might be out here twice, you know.
And I want to show to focus on the different applications here because you've got so many different kinds of plants in different situations. But we need to start by connecting to your existing water supply somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
After the water supply was hooked up and the basic control system installed, I showed Tom and Carol Ann where they were and how they would work.
So guys, here's where we're going to get the water for your irrigation system. You already had this T in line here. I took the plug out, attached some PVC, and of course this is running now underground and out to the rest of the system. Now at the other end of this, actually, there's something I want to show you.
The PVC plastic pipe runs underground to a device that will distribute the water to different sections of the garden.
This is it, right here, to what we call a manifold. Each one of these is a valve, and it controls a different area or zone in your lawn.
Next, I take Carol Ann and Tom into the garage and show them the brains of the system.
Now this is your irrigation system timer. You get a number of controls up here which will tell each of those zones when to come on, when to shut off, and how long to stay on.
It's time for Tom and Carol Ann to go to work. They're digging trenches a few inches deep. Now, this is where we're going to lay the plastic pipes that will serve as the main water lines for sprinklers that will water the putting green. Earlier, we placed these small red flags around the edge of the green to show us the location of the new sprinkler heads. In order to supply each of these sprinklers with water, we'll have to tap into the main supply line. That means cutting the pipe and installing branch lines or offshoots.
To get this up out of the dirt right here, this is a good trick. Just take a short piece of pipe, lay it across the trench. Okay, Caroline, let's cut this pipe right here. There you go.
The quickest way to do this is with an inexpensive plastic pipe cutter that uses a blade and ratcheting action to easily slice through the pipe.
Very nice. All right.
In a moment, we'll rejoin the pipes with this T-shaped connector. But first, we screw in this L-shaped fitting called an L or elbow.
Right, now it's time to weld this T to this pipe right here, right? So if you'll take the brush out.
Carol Ann applies pipe cement to the inside of the T and the outside of the pipe, then pushes them together and holds them firmly for a few seconds while the glue sets. Now we're ready to attach a flexible hose which will carry water from the supply line to the sprinkler head. We determine the proper distance and then cut the hose to length.
Cutters right here. Now this is the sprinkler head. It's a pop-up style right here.
Right.
Now we're going to put one end of this flexible hose on the sprinkler head like that. Just wiggle it up and down as we send it.
Carol
The
Ann
other
connects
end's
the
gonna go on
other
left.
end to the L-shaped tube.
Up and down. That's it. That's it. Push. Excellent. Excellent.
We make sure that the sprinkler head is flush with the soil,
Top of this, flush with the soil here.
and then
I'm gonna start
fill in the
back
trench
for
with
this.
dirt.
You can go ahead and help me. Okay, now we don't have to fill it all the way, just enough to keep this in position,
Right.
and then we'll move on to the next sprinkler head. Okay?
Yep.
Great.
Now, one of the real benefits of this watering system is its adaptability. Pop-up sprinklers, like the one we just installed, can cover broader areas like the putting green. But the Hyatts also have a variety of garden plants with a wide range of watering needs. So the next part of their system will be designed with this in mind.
So the general rule here is to glue as many things together outside the trench as we can. So let's start with the L.
We'll begin in this small area of the garden. Tom has dug a trench for another run of plastic pipe that will bring water to this location. Using the same cementing technique as before, he assembles a short L-shaped section called a riser. Into the end of the riser, he screws a plastic T. The entire assembly is then attached to the supply line.
Now this is called drip tubing.
Right.
This is what's going to supply the water to all the plants in here. Tom, if you'll plug one end of it into that T, okay, kind of rotate it and then up and down and push it in. Now we're going to run this in a big circle down here, and we're just going to put these stakes over the hose that'll hold it in place just like that, all right? So let's start. I'm going to cut this right here.
Once we've laid out enough tubing to encircle this section of the garden, we cut off the excess and insert the end of the tube into the other side of the T, while Carol Ann helps camouflage it. Then, using a punch, we puncture holes in the flexible tubing and attach smaller soaker hoses, which will carry water directly to individual plants. On the end of each soaker hose goes a water emitter. The emitter determines how much water a plant receives and how it's delivered. Some emitters drip water at the base of the plant, while others spray a fine mist onto the foliage. Some spray emitters even have interchangeable heads, each producing a different spray pattern.
And it's so tunable to whatever you want to do with the system that I know we're going to just thoroughly enjoy it.
As the day came to a close, I knew Tom and Carol Ann could adapt and expand their watering system any way they wished. They wouldn't need me anymore. And there was something else they could get along without.
Before you go, and for all the help in putting the system in, I'd like to leave you with something that I'm not going to need anymore.
Oh, I guess you won't, will you? Well, I can always use a garden hose, I'll tell you. I don't have irrigation in the motorhome. All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Ron. It's
You're
been
very welcome.
great. Thank
This was
you.
fun.
Thank you.
I learned a lot from this. So how long have you had this lavender bush?
Take time to stop and smell the lavender. Isn't that what they say? Then it's back on the road, heading for whatever comes my way.